If you're trying to improve your guitar technique by using something like this, or this, or this, or even this, then you're wasting your time and wasting your money at best, and you are holding back your own progress and risking serious injury at worst. And today, I'm going to show you why. Alright, so I know this is a controversial and bold statement I just made, and I'm sure somebody is writing a punctuation-free wall of text to me about how I'm wrong. But let me explain my reasoning in detail. And keep in mind, this is coming from a guy who's tried all these hand-strengthening grip master stuff that people try to sell you to make your fingers strong. I've even tried sticking pieces of cardboard under the strings to make my action artificially harder and make it more difficult to push the strings down.
Hey, I've done crazier stuff than that to win back a chick. Once I ran naked through a subway station.
How was that supposed to work?
I guess I never really thought it through.
For one thing, playing guitar well and playing guitar fast has very little to do with raw brute strength. It has a lot more to do with things like excess muscle tension control, with economy of motion, with finger independence, with efficiency, with proper positioning so you're fretting notes right next to the fret and have to use less pressure to get the notes to come out. So it's about doing less stuff and less work to get what you want, not about using more power to get what you want. And if having super strong fingers or super strong hands or grip was required for playing guitar, you'd never see 8-year-old girls or 6-year-old girls out shredding most men on YouTube, but you see that all the time. Now, of course, you do need some strength and some endurance to play guitar that a normal person who doesn't play an instrument would not have. And the best way to develop the strength and endurance for guitar is in the context of playing and practicing, where in addition to developing strength and stamina and endurance and all those things, you're also focused on fretting the notes in the right places, using just the right amount of pressure and not any more pressure to avoid tying your whole arm up with tension, keeping the other fingers relaxed as one finger is doing its job, keeping the other side of your body relaxed as your finger is pushing down a note, for example. All these things have to be trained together. And the big problem with things like the Grip Master, for example, is that when you're training raw strength at the expense of everything else, is that it actually trains some bad habits and bad motor patterns. For example, if you look at the suggested exercises they tell you to do on the cardboard that comes with the Grip Master, one of them is the thumb squeeze for strengthening the thumb area for increasing endurance. And they talk about how when you're practicing squeezing harder with the thumb, it's going to make bar chords easier to play.
What?
Squeezing harder with the thumb is not going to make bar chords easier. It's only going to make you tired faster, no matter how much endurance you try to build. If you want to know more about this, check out my video on how to make bar chords feel easier to play, and I'll talk about how you're supposed to use less pressure and apply force to the strings in a much different way than just raw squeezing power, and that is what's going to make bar chords easier, not more brute strength. But if you buy into the myth that you just need to squeeze harder with the fingers or you need to use things like the Grip Master to make guitar feel easier, you'll just keep digging the hole deeper and deeper for yourself because you'll be ingraining horrible motor patterns into your muscle memory. And then when you carry them over to guitar, you'll keep wondering why your guitar playing isn't feeling any easier or why your speed isn't increasing. That's why I say forget hand strengthening exercises for the fretting hand. If you can break a toothpick with your fingers are plenty strong to start playing guitar. And from here, just learn how the fretting hand is supposed to operate with the most optimal amount of pressure and tension and proper positioning, proper biomechanics, learn all that stuff, and in the process, you'll develop all the strength you need to play guitar as well as you want. Also, when you're using things like the Grip Master and you're squeezing one of the buttons with one finger, what do you think happens to the other fingers? They're really, really tense. They're tense like crazy. And that's not what's supposed to happen when you're fretting notes the right way on guitar. But the biggest issue I have with hand strengthening gadgets for guitar is that they're all focused on building strength in the wrong hand.
Oops. Oops. What does that mean?
I mean, seriously, you go to Amazon or Google and you type in hand strengthening tools for guitar, all you see are gadgets for the fretting hand. But it is the picking hand that needs the most force and power to play guitar well, because it is your picking hand that controls all the dynamics. And by the way, when you're picking notes harder, part of the job of the fretting hand is to not tense up in the process. It's that idea of hand independence I talked about many times in my videos. But if you focus too much on building raw strength in your fretting hand, that doesn't build hand independence at all. So what you end up with is an overdeveloped fretting hand that ties up your body with too much tension, and an underdeveloped picking hand that doesn't do its job properly because it doesn't have enough strength and power to do it.
That doesn't make sense.
The more power you have in the picking hand, the more control you have over the dynamics, the more control you have over the articulation, and the more articulation you have, the easier it is to lock your hands in tight sync. So this is really important, and most people don't even know about this, much less train the skill. If you want to start building more strength and power in your picking hand, spend some time practicing guitar unplugged. Spend your warm-up time, 5-10 minutes per day, just practicing with no amp and hit the notes as hard as possible. And also practice this hand independence drill right here that's going to train your picking hand to play notes with varying volumes from very soft to very articulate while keeping your fretting hand as relaxed as possible. That's going to help you a lot. Another reason why I don't like hand strengthening gadgets is because it's very easy to overdo it on them and get injured. Especially because you're using one finger at a time in many cases, and these muscles and these joints are very small, so it's very easy to aggravate or inflame something, and that's going to lead to all kinds of problems for your guitar playing down the road. You'll be way better off just focusing on proper hand positioning, tension control, economy of motion, efficiency, all of that stuff. Just practice your guitar more, and that's going to help you not just play better, but also avoid injuries. And when it comes to things like this, that are supposed to increase your stretching ability in the fingers, I honestly don't even know what to say. This reminds me of a Smith machine in the gym that's supposed to help you stay safe, as they say, by guiding the bar up and down a pair of rails when you're bench pressing or doing squats, but all it does is force the bar to move in a rigid path that's incompatible with how your body moves, and that oftentimes leads to more injuries. When it comes to stretching on guitar, you're not going to develop more stretching ability by forcing your fingers to stretch. In fact, you have to do the exact opposite. You want to relax your body, relax your hand into the stretch, and allow the stretch to develop gradually instead of forcing the fingers to spread. If you want to know more about my practice methods for building stretching, check out this video right here and I'll walk you through it in detail. And what I just said about the risk of injury by working out one finger at a time, that goes quadruple for using something like this to improve your stretch. Because it's very easy to snap something up by not being careful and then
You're fired.
As you can see, it's all about just doing more proper practice that's going to make you better, not using any type of gimmicky gadget that promises you the world but doesn't really deliver. If you want even more proof about why these gadgets are pretty much a waste of time, just think of any great guitar player you know, either you know in person or you know of. Have you ever heard a single one of them credit their playing to how strong their fingers were, especially in the fretting hand? I rest my case. Anyway, that's all I have to say about this topic. And if you want some more help with your guitar practicing, your guitar technique, and undoing bad habits in your playing, I can help you with that in my Rapid Fire Guitar Practice Training Program. There, I not just go into much more detail about everything I talk about on this channel, but you and I can also sit down, I can take a look at exactly what's going on in your playing, in your technique, any bad habits you may have, show you exactly how to fix them, train you on fixing them right in front of me. So if you do what I tell you, you can very often see some pretty impressive results that very same day. To learn more about it, check out the link in the description box below. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video just like this for you. This is Mike Filipov, guitar practice expert from PracticeGuitarNow.com. I'll see you next time.